All right, so I'm quite sure that some of you are still confused about how to do shit and probably screaming about not having the whole fucking thing going in the game. So we're gonna be continuing on creating the whole thing and also adding collision to the whole stuff, right? So what do we do? How do we continue with the geometry that we already created? First, we're gonna be fixing one of the corners. So this is, think of it as 4 quarters, right? It's gonna be 1 quarter, the second one, and third, and the fourth one. We're gonna be fixing half of a quarter. Then we're gonna mirror and duplicate that in multiple until we have the whole thing as it needs to be, and that will also give us the segments that we need to create additional. So if you want this, let's think of this as a cross, right? If you want to create a T uh, intersection or an L or straight, we're gonna be using the same geometry to create the other bits without having to recreate the whole thing from scratch. So let's start by eliminating the bits we do not need, and then we'll move forward from there. First, we're gonna fix the geometry that was pretty fucked up when we left off, and because there is no good way of doing a good job until you have a good topology. And it's not like this is a bad topology. We under 1500 triangles for the whole thing, but I think it can be done better and will be done better. We'll probably end up with little over half of what you're seeing in here, and still look perfectly good. The less triangles you have, the better for the game. That's just how the way it is. So let's clean up the geometry uh, to begin with, so we have something to work. So I'm gonna be cleaning up all the edges that there is no need for in the for the topology to be sound, to be perfect. Okay, so we're only interested on cleaning up the geometry in one of the quarters. We do one of the half of the quarters, right? We do not care about anything else but this right here, one little patch. There is no need for that either. Oh, there is definitely needed for that one, but not this one. Also, as you can see in here, if we zoom in, there is this is bad. This is bad in here because there is no the continuity is broken, and if you happen to have lights, the light will shine through. And what the fuck is going on with the game? Why does it look so weird? So we gotta address that stuff too, right in here too. So first off, go to the toolbar and make sure you're in the vertex select mode. Press A to select all of them, and go to merge by distance. Let's look at what we're trying to achieve in here. Merge by distance. Where are you? Right here. And then just increase the number until it snaps to where we need it to be. Also, this option being on, auto merge vertices, also helps. And after you do that, you have to double check that you actually didn't fuck up everything as in UV mapping or topology of what you're trying to do. We try to fix things. We do not try to break things. All right. Now it's time to separate what we're interested in from what we are not interested in. So number 3, select the faces. We still have stuff to clean up in here. No, this is part of this bit. So now that I'm thinking about, I think it's better that I create this face from the curve. So we're going to be deleting this one, and I will be creating it from this. So we do not run into triangles. Why do I have one in here? Yeah, I know. The texture is fucked up. We'll fix it later. And this is pretty much the cleanest we can possibly get it as is right now. We will, because we're going to be cloning this half quarter in here, we're going to be cloning on the other sides. That means we will have to cut a line through on the median, so the cloning is perfect. So we're in the face select mode, Control R, and cut through. All right, so we will be now separating the faces we need from what we do not need. Number 3, select faces. Let me clean up this stuff in here. Like that. This is pretty much all we need. With that selected, press Ctrl I to invert selection, press delete, and select faces. Let me clean up this one last edge in here, because when we texture it, we're not going to need it. Now, if you ever walked on the sidewalk, you know the curb will never be this high when you're about to cross the road. So we're going to need to flatten this area in here to make it look realistic. So let's do that before we start texturing, because the moment we start texturing, it's going to fuck up the UV maps. So number 2, Control R, make a cut all the way through. I'm going to move it down almost ground level and repeat it on the other side. Control R. Like that. Then we're going to be selecting the faces that are too tall, and we're going to level it. So number 3. And delete faces. Then we're going to take those edges to create the the concrete in here that was once a curb. And this one. And I think I'd like a little bit more detail in here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of a bevel on this edge in here and the other side in here. So edit mode, number 2, select edge. It's rarely this rough. I like to believe that whoever does the construction work does not create those sharp edges in here. Control B, bevel. So it's gonna be like a miniature curb, because it's nice to not have a Minecrafty looking thing. Maybe on this one too. That's real good. I like it. So we have a decent cut into the curb to let the pedestrian walk in without tripping over the fucking curb. All right, that's pretty much the whole reason for the stuff. And we're now gonna be fixing the texture, the brick texture for the road, because it looks to me that it's way too big. If you are to put one vehicle in here, the bricks is way too big compared to the size of the wheel. So let's do that, and on top of that, we'll be fixing the UV maps for this area. Why don't I have a vertex in here? So we're gonna do number 3. Select those two, and we're gonna do cube A and size. We're gonna rotate it on the z-axis. You do not see anything because fucking Blender doesn't. It was my fault. I apologize. I apologize. It was me. So R, no, S. GY S to size it. That's a lot better, isn't it? I think we have to shift a little bit so decenter the dirt from the texture looks a little better. Should I? Something like that. And of course, there's fucking face in here. I forgot about it too. To include it into the... I'm just gonna do it black. All right. Do we... Yeah, we need to fix this. Go to your editor, look at that mess in here, and do a cube, then A, and then full octave quads, R to rotate, cube again, here's the same, doesn't let me do it right, and we move in, zoom in, AS, I think I have to deselect this in here, then cube. That's a lot better. We got a little patch in here that refused to go along with our plan. I think that's acceptable. Let's move to the corner. And I think I can do this in black. without the curve color. I think that's fair. Cube AS, like so. Create a little bit of contrast. I don't know how this fucking face got fucked up, or this face. So let's do that. Cube AS GY. That's good. There is no way for a player to see that. All right. We now have to fix the textures, move them like kind of in the middle. So the moment you start duplicating the road, you're gonna have the continuity of the line will follow as it needs to be, because right now chances are that you're gonna have half a line. So we're gonna do that. Select those. So right now, if I have to duplicate this one, Shift D X and rotate it. It should be mirrored, not rotated. You will see that it's creating continuity in here. Something like that. You got the idea what I'm trying to do in here. So that is fixed. What else do we need to do in here? Double check the median in here. That's because this is gonna be, yeah, this is good. Got split in two. All right, let's not half-ass this one. We're gonna do the break. Because yeah, Blender just where's the white line, you bitch? That means it's rotated 180. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. How am I supposed to see where the fucking center of this shit is? I have to move the cursor left and right for the text to go up and down. God damn it. Sometimes Blender pisses me off to no end. Alright. We got what we needed. So what's left now is to duplicate this 3 times so we create recreate the whole intersection again. But what I want to do is just extend the sidewalk a little bit so looks nicer, right? That's pretty much the only reason. So edit mode, number 2, select the edge except the one that's part of the road and extrude on the EX snap like that, and then select the faces, number 3, checking on the UV editor, cube, we're gonna be selecting the curve which we are interested in right now to match the texture for the rest of the curve. Blender, give me the texture for the fucking curve, you bitch. Like that. GY. Good. And then we're gonna do the sidewalk. think it's too big. I'm saying that because it's pixelated. It's too pixelated. So this one has 3 tiles and this one has 2. So A, S. That's a lot better. All right, let's redo the intersection with proper textures and with the cut curbing here. And I don't like this in here. It needs to be right at the edge. Good. Tool, origin, G, snap. Shift D, Shift D, and Y. Then mirror. D X mirror delete this one. Join those two. Mass to one of the corners. So we have a perfectly UV mapped intersection. I feel like there's gonna be some invert faces somewhere. Nope, looks like we're good. But gotta apply the transforms everywhere. It's the only way to make sure. And pretty much here we're gonna be, hopefully it's there is nothing else that has vertices this close for to screw up our plan in here. Although it's gonna be an easy fix if that's the case. Right, let's see what's going on. Number one, merge by distance. Almost 500 vertices. That's a bit much that I expected. Gotta check the topology so we didn't fuck up everything. Okay, so we're good. And last bit. I'm just checking the topology if it's is the way I want it or not. If usually if you break it, depending on what you're selecting, when you collapse it, you'll know if it's broken or not. So for some reason, Blender, how the fuck does this happen? I'm just gonna blame Blender for everything. Come on, Blender, you can do this shit to me. Now I gotta manually fix it everywhere. But it's a lot less to fix than if you would try to put the other geometry in game. That's pretty much the whole thing is because of maximum optimization. There is no other reason to do what I've just done other than that. See how is it has different. This is from the welding process, from the emergent vertices process. But on the good side, create a little bit of a diversity on how the texture looks like. So it's not all bad. It's good. This is the last one. Oh, maybe you create a little bit of bump in there just to look a little fancier. And we're going to be creating the center. Just going to be merging the, not merge, but fill. I'm going to do the center for this. Number 3. Number 3 Blender. Center. And cube. And size. How good is this? How good is this? Rockstar, I'm looking for someone. So this is a four-way intersection. What's missing from here is the decals, the road marks, the trash, the little things that make a difference when it comes to getting the whole thing in the game. So we now are 50 minutes into this, and we still haven't put the thing in game. So we're going to be exporting this. First, we're going to be embedding all the textures because I don't want to create a dictionary. So let's do that. We're going to be embedding. Again, this is a bad practice. You should create a dictionary for your stuff. So on the material tab in here, on the properties tab, select Solums and embed every single texture that's, select every single shader in the list and select check out the box that says embedded. because I do not want to create a dictionary right now. And we've done that, and it's time to create actually a game ready file. Source material, drawable, create drawable object, make sure that embed auto collision is on. If you plan on only having a few pieces, if you have a larger area, you should always use board collision for your stuff. All right, first go to center origin to mass, because the moment you create the collision, you don't want those to be in a completely different position than the geometry, the drawable. With that done, go back to Solums. Then auto embed collision is on, nothing else. It's enabled, all right? And convert to drawable. Let me see the listing here from this assertion. There is no reason for 002. And convert to drawable. Next thing we do, we create different materials for where the texture is, right? So this is concrete, this is tarmac, this is brick, and this is tarmac. So we're going to be creating a set 4, right? I'm going to be hiding the drawable, so the dot model is the model, and that COL is the collision that's embedded. So I'm going to be hiding the dot model. You will still see this one because it has the texture shaders, which is the wrong way to do it, because those are drawable shaders. Those are not materials for the collisions. So drawable have materials, drawable have shaders, and collision have materials. So we go back to this. We're gonna eliminate them. Well, let's not do that yet, because it's a good way for me to select how to apply the materials. So first we're going to create the materials. Collisions, create collision material. So I said one is going to be concrete, the other one is going to be tarmac, the one is going to be brick. And if I want to go crazy, I could do the median here as painted thing, which I'm not going to be, no, there's going to be 3. First, concrete, create collision material. Second, tarmac. And the third one, brick. So you know those are shaders, and the last 3 at the bottom are materials. Just to repeat myself, drawables use shaders, collisions use materials. Do not mix those. Ever, 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 ever. This is just an example on how to use a certain shader that you created from when you created the collisions. Use the shaders as a placing tool for your materials. So first, go to edit mode. Select one of the faces that's supposed to be tarmac, right? Hold Shift, press G. Select material. It's going to select all the material, which is supposed to be this, well, material. Select tarmac from the list. We know that the bottom 3 are the collision related, but we need the materials, and assign. Then we're going to select this piece of tarmac in here. Shift G, material, select tarmac again, and assign. We're going to be repeating with the concrete in here. Shift G, material. We're going to select, this time we're going to select concrete, assign. Then we're going to be selecting the brick, material, and we're going to do brick, assign. If you missed anything, the moment you hide the overlay, the edit overlay, you will see that the curbs do not have yet any material. So we're going to be selecting the curb, Shift G, material, and we're going to do concrete, assign. Now, I still have the median, which is going to be tarmac, G, material, tarmac, assign. Now, as you can see, every single one of them has got a little bit of a different shade, which means you've done a good job and you assign different materials. When you run with the car over the brake or the concrete or the tarmac, the road is going to make a different sound. Or when you brake, or shoot at it with any of the weapons. That means everything except the bottom three will have to go. You select the first one on top and click the minus. Exit out of edit mode because it's complaining. Minus, 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 and center the last one. So those are the materials we're interested in. Now, if we are to enable the drawable that has the shaders, you will still not see anything because the collisions are on top and will override the way the will display. If you want to see the model, the dot model, which is the drawable, just click the eye on the collisions. And you have your road in here. And we're going to be exporting, enable it again. There is no reason to hide it. So I'm just going to name this. Oh. Make sure you never use spaces or weird characters like relic or whatever. Just Latin, numbers, and underscore. If you want to separate and look like a word. Then we make sure the top hierarchy is selected. You go to General, Export CodeWalker XML. One more time, I have to check if my UV maps properties are properly set. So we go into Data, UV maps. This is good. Color attributes is 0. Color 1. So that means the whole geometry has the proper color and the proper UV map naming there. Tutorial, export CodeWalker XML. Took quarter second, and let's go to RPF Explorer. So that's our intersection. For some reason is black. That means it has the wrong vertex color. And looks like the alpha from the median also. Gotta find a different texture for the median. Or double the mesh with something else. Alright, so we're gonna change the color for the vertices. I don't want to change it from Blender. I'm gonna change it straight from the text file from the XML. The color is this in here, 000. So the last set of numbers, 255, is the alpha value. So I'm gonna be replacing 000 255 with 255 0255, and that will change the color without using Blender. You know how to do that. Congratulations, you're a hacker now. Look at you. And if you were to make it dark nighttime, you will see it's not that dark. Let me do it again. 1736. Why is it still dark? Or maybe it's just probably because of the textures are dark. So let's put that in game right now. It's CodeWalker. I'm gonna open the resource folder somewhere. No, this one needs way too many. So we're going to be moving the YDR somewhere in our resource directory right here. And we're going to copy this directory path in here. Press T to show the toolbar. Open folder. Go to where your stuff is, where you just move the YDR into. Select folder. Select, actually you do not have to select it. You just go to New YMap. And click the Save button. Call it my intersection is awesome. And now that you saved that, you should have two files. We're going to create one new file, new, Y type, selected in the list, save, and name it the same if you want. You should not have three files in here. It's very important now that you close the project window. It's very, very important that you've saved everything. You have to close the project window. And you open the thing again. Let me go to somewhere. Let's say at the airport right here. And you select your YMap, Y type, new archetype from YDR. You select the YDR. Select the name of the Y type. Make sure it's saved. It's very, very important. And close the project window one more time. It's very important. Open folder. And double check that it actually shows up in here, because sometimes it doesn't. And then you select the YMap. You get the name of the YDR, and with the YMap selected in the list, YMap, new entity, and Control V, the name of the of your stuff. So looks like it's underground now. There you go. You got the motherfucking intersection. Look at how big it is. Now select your stuff. Make sure you have options. Auto calculates for both of it, for YMap and flag and extents. If you do that, you only have to, all you have to do is just the save, and it will auto calculate the whole thing. Last thing they gotta do is just go to Tools, Manifest Generator, Generate, Save, and name it. How many files you have in total now? 4. One is the YDR, the drawable that has the textures. The YMap, that's the file that tells the game where the file is, as in world position. The Y type is the file that holds the information about the file itself, such as the bounding boxes, if it has a dictionary, that has physics or whatever. And the manifest file is the file that tells the game there is a new Y type and new Y map, and you need those for the whole thing to work properly. So that's pretty much on quick breakdown on what's going on. Why do you need all those files? Close. Yes. No. So let me restart the game. Let's see, where the hell is it? Restarting. Games 5. Now my 5M is gonna look ugly because I turned off all the shadows, all the graphics. So it's gonna look a little weird without shadows of any of that stuff. But it's gonna work. Markers, get the position to where they're supposed to be, because we're gonna be teleporting in here. And connect to that. And my shit is not here. What's going on? Let me check the resources. Restarted the server. try here. As we can see, we have collisions. We have specularity, haha. We have details, we have dirt, we have realism. So that's pretty much all there is to it. That is no more complicated than that. You now know how to create a fucking intersection, texture it on railway, high quality, duplicate your stuff so it makes sense, as in not wasting time and trying to detail every single thing when you can actually just use the same geometry that it's already textured and modeled, and create a resource and spawn it in game so you can test your stuff. Now, you probably does look so much like the game. It looks like we haven't done anything, but it's in there. If you are to not use the texture, the dirty textures and the road and all that stuff, that will look completely like doesn't belong into that space. So there you go. That's all there is to it. See you on the next one. Bye.